Once again, listener, good day. Today we will be talking about PygWalker. PygWalker. So we are going to look at what PygWalker actually does and how we can use it to do a EAD. EAD simply means exploratory data analysis. Alright? I remind your friend Joshua. Once again, I'll urge you to subscribe to my channel. Watch my previous video. If you have any question, don't forget to comment on the comment section. Feel free to like this video, feel free to share this video, and don't forget to suggest in any area you're having difficulty so that we can look at it together. Today, like I said, we're going to talk about PygWalker. What is PygWalker? When we talk about PygWalker, we are talking about a library that is inside Python. It's a Python library. Okay? So this library, we can use it to do data visualization. Okay, we can use it to do data exploration. Okay, imagine for instance, let's say for instance you have a bunch of data in your Jupyter notebook, like we have opened our Jupyter notebook. Okay, and you want to analyze and visualize your data. PygWalker it acts like a magic tools. Okay, it acts like a magic tools. It take a super easy. Okay, it make your data super easy in terms of data visualization. Okay, it takes your data and turn it into special kind of table that you can interact with, just like okay, if you have heard about Tableau. Okay, so in using PygWalker library, it enables us to do such. Okay, now to do that, for instance, remember, if you have not installed PygWalker, please I will urge you to use pip install. Okay, pip install PygWalker. Alright, because I've installed it, I'm not going to install it again. Now we are going to import PygWalker as PYG. We are going to import pandas as PD. We are going to import NumPy. Import NumPy as NP. Alright, and also we can say from, because we are going to use a data set from scikit-learn. We can say from sklearn dot data set. Okay, import iris. Okay, we can say from sklearn data set import iris. Alright, you can say import iris. In this, doing it this way, we help us to load the data set. Okay, we can say from SK data lead also load underscore iris, something like this, iris. All right, let's say load iris. Let's run this code. All right, now that we have successfully imported this library, next thing I want us to do, we are going to use this code. Yeah, okay, we are going to use this code. Now that we have this code here, I will now define a new variable. I'm going to call this PG, and I say PG is equals to load iris. We are going to convert this iris data set into a pandas data frame. To do that, we now say df equals to pd dot data frame. All right, data, we define a new variable equals to np, which is our numpy, concatenate with a c variable because we have columns and rows in this data set. We pass it to our data. And this data set has target, and inside target in the column area we have iris, we have features, and we have species. All right, once we've done that, we now say okay, df, pass it to species, set this data to a categorical data and set it to form code, and this iris data has a target. Iris data has target names. So if we've successfully done that, I'm going to load this data set. It triggers error. It says okay, data frame. Okay, now why is it telling us the data frame? Okay, PD. Okay, all right, if we load this data like this, good, it's going to give us our data frame. Sorry, there was error before. So this is how our data looks like. All right, now we have our data showing here. Next thing we're going to do, we are going to make use of our PygWalker or PygWalker that we have installed. All right, to do that, I'm going to define a new variable here. I'll call it PygWalker equals to or let me call it GWalker. Let's say GWalker equals to, all right, when I say pyg.walk, this walk function is going to take the variable df which we have defined. Now we have successfully what set up this variable GWalker equals to pyg, which we have imported and set it as our alias name, which we have here, and we are using a walk function. This walk function now pass an attribute argument to this function, which is our df, which is that loads our data set. Now when I run this code, let's see how it's going to look like, the outcome and the display of this data. Now it's loading. Let's give it some time. Once you are successfully loaded, we're going to see a display. Good, fine. Now this is how it looks like. You see, this is how it looks like. Now it's showing us visualization. It's showing us there are two columns here. We have data. The data shows this way. It's telling us that it's showing 1 of 200 out of 150 results that we have here. All right. Okay. Now these are the datas in this arrays data set. Okay. Because we are going to make use of what visualization, I will go to visualization column. All right. In doing that, I'm going to come here. Remember, we have various display functions here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take my separ length. I'll take separ length. I'm going to put separ length inside. Okay, sorry. I'm going to put separ length. The zooming was too much. I'm going to pick the separ length, put it as an x-axis. Okay. After that, I'm going to pick another one, which is what separ width. Put it on what as y-axis. It's like a drop and a pick and drop function. Now to do that, I'm going to remove this in this function. Now because this is going to give us what a scatter plot. All right, it's giving us what a scatter plot. This is the separ length on x-axis, the separ width on what y-axis. All right, we can as well come back here. Where a lot of plotting functionality here. We can use bar plot. You see how it's going to give us bar plot. Each of these plots has what a label. Okay, it has a label that describes the volume, the length of the data, and the data description. Okay, now we can as well come here. So, okay, let's look for what we can plot another data. We can talk about bus plot. Okay, see how the bus plot looks. Okay, we can talk about any plot you can imagine. We have all the functionality here. If I come here, I can put it on a fixed. All right. Now using fixed function, we're going to make the data visualization display in this format. Okay. Now, good thing about this PygWalker is that we can export our data. If you click on this function, it's telling you want to export it as PG, PNG, or SVG. I say, okay, let's import it as what? PNG. Doing that, you see, our data is what? It's downloaded successfully. So I'm going to come here, open it. You see how the data looks like. So you see how powerful this library is. You can what export your what graph or visualization. Let's look at it. You see, this is how it looks like. Okay, good for PygWalker, and this for our heat map. So that on that. Again, I can say, okay, I don't want this as is here. I can go back, take it back, separ length. Are you getting it? Take it back, separ length, and also take this separ width back to separ width. I say, okay, I want to do for what petal length, and also for what petal width. All right, go here, petal width. Okay, I have already petal width. Let's say, okay, give me a row count. I want to plot these two together using what? A bar plot. See, this is how the plot will look like. Okay, so this is a very, very powerful functional library that has a lot of functionality. You can as well come here. If you say, okay, let me give it a color, you can drop one of the value here at the color point. You see it has changed the color. Okay, you can say, okay, what is the size? Use the row count as the size. It will give you what the size ranging from 0 to what 3. Okay, and all this one we can make use of them. You can as well come here, double click on this filter. When you double click on this filter, you can say, okay, let me come to row count, drop 1 at the filter column. You see how the data will look like then. Okay, then we can now come here and decide to what filter. Anytime I want to filter, say filter this set. You see it will display the data like this, say confirm. And remember, this is how it's going to look like. So there are so many things. All these are where we're transparent or transpose graph. Graph using this one. We also have what sort in an ascending order. We can sort our value of our what graph. Okay, the stack mode. Go to stack mode. If you put it on normalize, this is how it's going to look like. But it's better. I prefer using a stack mode. Okay, so if I come here, I say okay, give me a scatter plot. This is how it's going to look like. Alright, this is how it's going to look like. Now, another functionality here, we can export the code that generates this graph. Okay, we can as well save this graph as well. Okay, so it has a lot of functionality. You can save it as JSON. You can save it as what? JSON file. Okay, so this is what PygWalker does, and it has a very useful features. Okay, very important, very useful features that you can use to do your data exploration. All right, so we can as well come here, use undo, we have a redo, then we have an aggregate. All right, here we can give you the aggregate, and again, by the time you drop the value into the x-axis and also drop value into the y-axis, there's a functionality or a drop down icon you will see here. You can here talk about mean. You can plot the mean, median. You can plot it by the maximum. You can plot it by the what minimum. Okay, as the case may be. You see, so you can just alternate the graph. We have the variance here. You have also have the standard deviation. Okay, it gives you all the graph with respect to what descriptive inferential statistics. Okay, so it gives you a lot of functionality with respect to what statistical method. We have mean, sum, median, maximum, variance, and all that. So this is what we can do with PygWalker. It's a very important library that you can use to do your EAD, okay, exploratory data analysis. So far so good. We are going to stop here on this PygWalker. We do some videos whereby we'll be compiling majorly on this new release some data exploration. In my next video, we'll be talking about other functionality. So far so good. I thank you for your time. I urge you to subscribe to my channel. I remain your friend Joshua. Feel free to like this video. Feel free to share this video. Don't forget to comment. Thank you once again. Goodbye.